Welcome to my humble abode, your go-to channel for skincare. I'm not a professional and I don't claim to be one. I'm just a girl who is crazy over skincare. So in today's video, we're going to discuss drugstore sunscreens. Much requested, much asked for, and it took a while because I had to do a lot of hunting, a lot of searching, a lot of research, but we're here and I have the suggestions for you, my babies. I am going to talk this through thoroughly with you, so please watch this video when you are focused because I really want it to make sense to you. The sun emits different types of UV rays, two of which are responsible for damaging our skin: UVA and UVB. UVB is responsible for burning your skin. That is what causes some people to tan and some of us to sunburn, whilst UVA affects your skin underneath the surface of your skin, and that is what causes premature aging. So UVB for burn, UVA for aging. So ideally we want sunscreens that are going to give us protection that consist of UVA protection as well as UVB protection. Whenever somebody asks what is the most important part of your skincare routine, it is definitely SPF. SPF can protect your skin from so much of damage. So if you get the SPF down from a young age, your skin is going to be popping for a very long time. Alright, sunscreen number 1. Here I have the Eucerin Sensitive Protect SPF 50+. The sunscreen filters used here are homosalate. That gives you UVB protection. It's not a strong filter itself. It gives you about 4.3% of protection at maximum. It's also not photostable. Research has shown that it loses 10% of its protection within 45 minutes. So homosalate as a sunscreen filter needs to combine with other sunscreen filters to make it more stronger. The other filters that are here is also octocrylene. Octocrylene is also a chemical sunscreen and it gives you UVB protection. So homosalate gives you UVB protection as well as the octocrylene. So far we've only seen UVB protection. It's not strong enough on its own, but it is far more photostable. And it is used to stabilize other unstable filters like homosalate. Then there's avobenzone. This is a world-known chemical sunscreen that gives you UVA protection. It's not photostable though, so that's where the octocrylene comes in to assist with the photostability for the avobenzone as well as the homosalate. There's ethyl hexyl salicylate in here as another filter, and that gives you UVB protection. Then we're seeing Tinosorb S, a new generation broad spectrum, which means it gives you UVA and UVB protection, and it is a very photostable sunscreen agent. It hardly deteriorates in the presence of UV light, so it is very photostable, and of course helps to stabilize those other sunscreen filters that are not very photostable as well. So those are the sunscreen filters that are used in the Eucerin Sensitive Protect. Also, right on the top of the ingredient list, there's glycerin, so that's your humectant. There's lots of emollient ingredients in here. They are substances that help to soften, soothe, and increase the moisture levels. Let's name a few for you. Ethyl hexyl cocoate, glyceryl stearate citrate, hydrogenated cocoa glyceride, and more. High on the ingredient list is alcohol. Usually, we try to avoid skin drying alcohols, but in order to achieve lightweight, non-greasy, and easily absorbs, alcohol has to play a role. It provides the quick drying and anti-grease feel once you've rubbed something onto your skin. Sunscreen filters are extremely oily in nature, and alcohol helps to create that skin feel texture that we like. For higher sun protection, you need more sunscreen filters, which means more oils. Usually I'm against a high concentration of alcohol in your skincare product, but daily sunscreen is so important. So even though alcohol may be drying to your skin, that sun protection is far more important. And we can use other skincare products before the sunscreen that provide sufficient hydration and moisturization to the skin, that can provide a buffer and somewhat counteract the potential drying effect from the use of the high concentration of alcohol in the sunscreen. Alternatively, you can use physical sunscreens to avoid the high alcohol content, but they are usually very heavy and people with color usually struggle with the white cast that they leave. I am still on the journey of trying to find a physical sunscreen that is drugstore, that is lightweight, absorbs easily into the skin, and does not leave a white cast. Unfortunately, that mission has been unsuccessful, and hence we are here today speaking about chemical sunscreens. My overall thoughts on this: I do find it funny that they call it Sensitive Protect, but it has such a high level of alcohol in it. Usually sensitive skin should be avoiding drying alcohols and fragrances. Also, if you have a damaged skin barrier, these filters may cause sensitivity. I had a damaged barrier, and when I would use sunscreens that had old chemical filters like octocrylene and avobenzone, my skin would sting so badly. If that is you, you should definitely rather opt for a physical sunscreen. But if you're just looking for a sunscreen and you have none of those issues, I think that the sunscreen filters that are used here complement each other very, very well. I'm very glad to see a new generation filter, which is this Tinted S, that is being used here. And I definitely agree that this will do the job for you. Just remember to reapply your sunscreen after about 2 hours. Now let's do a try on haul so you can see how this fares since you now understand the formulation. You usually want to do 3 fingers of these. This one is actually quite thick, so you can actually do 2. She sinks in so easily and so well into the skin. Put some on the forehead. Let's move it around. 2 fingers would have been perfect for the whole face. And there she is. That wasn't too much work, and there is no white cast. The texture was definitely more on the thicker side. Still really beautiful. So you can get this from Dischem or Clicks. This is a 50 ml bottle and it retails for 270 Rand. Next we have the Roche-Posay Anthelios Invisible Fluid. So the sunscreen filters here are ethyl hexyl salicylate, and that is going to give you UVB protection. Then there's ethyl hexyl triazone, and that's also going to give you UVB protection. We have a new gen filter in here, which is Tinted M, the new generation hybrid sunscreen filter. Very photo stable and helps to stabilize the other 2 sunscreen filters that we just discussed. There's avobenzone in here, and that is going to give you UVA protection. Avobenzone, like I explained in the Eucerin product, is not very stable, but the Tinted M stabilization obviously helps to stabilize the avobenzone. Then there's Mexeral XL. This is a L'Oreal Group exclusive sunscreen agent. It gives you UVA and UVB protection, and it is said to be a photo-stable chemical sunscreen. And finally, the other sunscreen filter that is here is Mexeral SX. Also an exclusive sunscreen agent to L'Oreal, and this is giving you UVA protection. There's humectants in here, glycerin, propanediol. So all my other videos I've been saying it as propanediol. I am so sorry. You guys know that I butcher the skincare ingredients on this video, but we learn and we grow, and that's all that matters. So it is called propanediol. And the other humectant that we're also seeing is caprylyl glycol. Once again, there is alcohol in here as well in a high concentration, which we've established when we discussed it with the Eucerin that we are okay with alcohol in sunscreens because the sunscreen protection is far more important, and we can use other products before that to really act as a buffer to that alcohol. This does have fragrance in it, so if you're against fragrance, you can take a skip on this one. In terms of the sunscreen filters, I'm very happy with it. You're getting really good protection, really good UVA and UVB protection. So let's get to the try on. This is very thin compared to the Eucerin one, so I'm going to put it on 3 fingers like I normally do daily. So very fluidy, as you can see. Let's hope I don't miss and make myself a fool here. So 3 fingers covers my whole face. And this one spreads and absorbs far more quicker into the skin compared to the Eucerin. Super duper beautiful. Look at that. No white cast, of course, because this has chemical sunscreen filters, but wow, does the job beautifully. This baby is 50 mils and it retails for 260 rand or 280 rand. I can't remember now. And then for our final sunscreen, we have the Bioderma Photoderm Max 50 Tinted Aqua Fluid. Before I forget, this is 40 mils and she retails for 285 rand. So the sunscreen filters here. The main sunscreen filter is octacrylene, and that gives you UVB protection. It's not a strong sunscreen filter on its own, but it is incredibly photostable. Then there's Tinted M, the new generation hybrid sunscreen filter. When I say hybrid, it means that it includes physical and chemical sunscreen agents. That gives you a broad spectrum coverage that's UVA and UVB protection. It is a highly photostable sunscreen agent. And by photostable, I mean that it doesn't lose its integrity very quickly in sunlight. There's avobenzone in here, and that gives you your UVA protection. Avobenzone is not photostable, and that is where the octacrylene and the Tinted M's photo stability helps the avobenzone. Then we're seeing another new generation sunscreen filter, Tinted S in here. Once again, that will give you broad spectrum, so UVA and UVB protection. Very photostable sunscreen agent, which will also contribute to stabilizing the avobenzone. So those are the sunscreen filters, which I'm very happy with. You're getting really good sunscreen protection. There's gorgeous humectants and moisturizers. Let's just read a few of them. Mannitol, xylitol, pentylene glycol, and caprylyl glycol, just to name a few. And of course, emollients and silicones in here. There is no drying alcohol in this sunscreen. There's also no fragrance in here. And there isn't even a chemical sunscreen scent in here like the Eucerin. The Eucerin was actually the only one that actually had a bit of that sunscreen scented from all the sunscreens that we've discussed today. Okay, so try on haul. So this is a tinted sunscreen. The color that I've got here is golden color. I'm just gonna do 2 fingers, It's also very fluidy, but not as fluidy as the La Roche-Posay one. We can actually just add a bit more so you can see it nicely. It also absorbs really easily and really well into the skin. And the tint is actually not that much at all. It is really light. It's not like a BB cream. It gives you a very thin sheer layer of tint. Much more oily though. Remember, it doesn't have the drying alcohol in it. It actually has the silicones that are making it so fluidy. So much more oily for sure. So if you have oily skin, I don't think that you would love this too much. If you have dry skin, this would definitely work for you. Just wanted to come up close. So as you can see, very sheer tint. You can barely even see it. You can still see my freckles here. You can see this little blemish that I have. You can see my beauty spot. So no coverage. I adore all three of these. I think that they give you great UVA and UVB protection, which is ultimately what is the most important thing for your skin. Like I said, please do not forget to reapply. That is just so very important. You know what they say, the best sunscreen is the sunscreen that you will use all the time. So make sure when you choose a sunscreen, it fits your criteria and you are happy to put it on daily and to reapply it. From these three, the one that I opt for all the time and most often has to be the La Roche-Posay. It just absorbs easily, it is very lightweight, so I always end up reaching for this one. But all three are absolutely stunning, as I've showed you in the formulation and in the try-on haul. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm and getting my videos seen. If you've gotten this far, then you might as well subscribe to my channel. I hope that wherever you are well, you are safe, and you are making good choices. And I can't wait to see you again.